check it out. Look who is in our daytime kitchen this morning. We have missed him, and he's back.
I'm just glad that you allowed me in the building.
Well, we knew that you could predict the weather, but I had no idea you could cook and grill, and you've been to smoking meats, and you said that's always been a hobby.
Yeah, well, especially the smoking meats and grilling over the last several years, and I've just gotten more into cooking in the kitchen as I've developed the seasonings over the last couple of years.
Okay, so how did this all happen?
Well, you know, with grilling and smoking, a lot of people will want to brine their meat,
Right,
where you're soaking it in a salt solution. So when you do that, you don't want any more salt after that.
Because that's got plenty of that salty flavor.
It's just perfect.
Yeah.
So we actually could not find a seasoning that wasn't loaded with salt. I mean, I've got my Salty Brand X.
I love that.
My Salty Brand
Rob,
X right here.
this is genius right here. Salty Brand X.
And, you know, nothing against these guys, even though I covered up their names. The problem with it is you can't add very much of it. There's a lot of herbs, and you can see some garlic in there, maybe some basil, but you really can't taste a lot of that because if you add too much, you get way too much salt. So you can only use a little bit.
So you were basically mixing and playing with all these other different things.
Over the last couple of years, yeah, to come up with the perfect blend. You know, something that works great not only on meats but is versatile with vegetables, and that's what I have here. You can see these aren't really necessarily the seasonings I use. Some of them I do, but these are basically something everyone has in their kitchen,
right?
And they're fun to play around with, and I encourage people to experiment with them. But when you experiment, you don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it takes a while. So the kids and the husband or the wife might have to pay the price.
Yes.
So that's why I came out with this line of seasoning to where it's already done.
It's sensational,
It's
Rob.
sensational. We have a salt-free pork rub, which we're actually going to use today.
Okay.
We're going to use the salt-free pork rub in Brussels sprouts.
And that's what you said, is a lot of people think, well, if I don't use a lot of pork or I don't use, and you said these seasonings are perfect for things like vegetables and quiches and all kinds of different foods.
Yes, yes. They're very versatile, and it's great for people that really have to watch their salt. I don't know if you know this, but the CDC came out with a statistic that 90% of people over the age of 2 actually have too much salt in their diet.
Which doesn't surprise me because all that packaged items and things like that filled with sodium and salt.
It's mostly from that. So.
Okay.
So that's why we have a salt-free, or for folks that just want to watch their salt a little bit, we have a low sodium, and then the FDA has something called very low sodium. So we use that in our Jamaican jerk.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we're going to start with the Brussels sprouts, which I know you are. Rob has always been very healthy. You always had great ideas and options, and we always shared recipes. So tell me a little bit about what we're doing with the Brussels sprouts here.
Okay, well, and I wanted to choose Brussels sprouts because we promote healthy living, even though we're going to do a quiche a little bit later.
With a little cheese.
You got to have some fun every once in a while. But, you know, Brussels sprouts are great for you. They're almost a perfect food in that they actually have a lot of protein, and you wouldn't think of that normally when you think of vegetables and of course all the vitamins and nutrients. But what you don't want to do with Brussels sprouts, if you have a bad memory of Brussels sprouts, it's probably because when you
were
grew
a
up,
kid, Mom would make you eat them all.
and she boiled them. You do not want to boil Brussels sprouts. We're actually going to bake them and kind of roast them a little bit. And that brings out more of a sweet and nutty flavor in Brussels sprouts, the opposite of if you boil them.
The soggy kind of.
Yeah, and almost rotten eggish. So we want to basically be able to sprinkle our seasoning on this. So we have to. I'm pouring olive oil on here to just really get it coated.
Okay.
And olive oil is not bad for you.
Yeah.
So you can be fairly liberal with that.
Okay. And which seasoning are we using with this one?
You know, this one you can either use the pork rub. I would recommend the pork rub or the chicken seasoning. We're going to use the pork rub today.
Okay.
And it just actually you would not usually think of pork rub and Brussels sprouts in the same sentence, but I mean, you'll taste them towards the end of the show, and they are incredible.
And I love Brussels sprouts. So this is the pork rub.
Uh-huh.
I'm just loving this.
And Did you take a smell of that?
Yeah, you know what? I think Chris has this one, and he was raving about it earlier. And I have your chicken, and I did the other night. I tried it, and it was wonderful. Yeah,
great.
it's really good.
Well-
Okay, so am I sprinkling?
Well,
Get it on the pan?
go ahead and put them on the pan.
Okay.
One other thing I just want to say really quickly is that when you cut these, I don't know if Mama ever told you, you want to cut them north to south or south to north. You don't want to go east to west.
Don't
East to
go
west
east
is
to
bad.
west. Good, no idea. Okay.
And so, yeah, we're basically just going to, I washed my hands earlier. We're going to lay all these out.
Nice, nicely coated.
There you go.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, and that's important because you want the seasoning to be able to stick.
Okay.
And since it doesn't have salt in it, you can pretty much pour as much as you want.
How lovely. And you're going to go ahead and roast these, and we're going to try them at the end of the show?
Yes.
All right, here is the information if you would like to pick up some of Rob's seasonings. They are sensational seasonings, and here is the information where you can find out more. We're making a quiche in just a bit.